Morning. Oh, you jinxed it, Andy. You jinxed it.
You jinxed it.
Whoop.
You jinxed it.
Whoop.
You jinxed it.
Whoop.
You jinxed it.
Wow. Well, there you go. Nice. Hey everyone. How are we all doing? So OBS crashed on me the second I hit start streaming because Andy jinxed it. And when I restarted it, I must have had a page open. Ah, wow, here we go. What a day. I can't even see the chat right now. Just hold on 1 second, folks. Hold on 1 second. I had to kill my Safari. Let's try this again. I'm forever going to blame you, Andy. Yeah, your work here is done. Thank you. Okay, pop out so I can see the chat. Wow, that was a rough start. Thanks. It was, yeah, let's not do that again, please. How's everyone? Good morning. Wow. Phew. That was really loud here, by the way. I don't know how the echo sounded for you, but it was getting louder and louder. That was insane. Looks like I did a bit loony, didn't I? I did a bit loony. So hello. Wow. Lots of faces. I'm just going to do a quick roll call, say hi. Adam, good morning. Michael, good morning. Always the first few in. Andy, yes, well. We're not going to forget that Andy's here. Hey Marin. Hey Graham. Hey Henrik, good morning. Morning Johnny. Hey Martend. Hi David. Hey Alex. And Marius. And Crazy Boy 2006 Cashier. We're going to get you a shorter name. Too long to say. Hey Death Shaker. Hey Paul. The Count is in. Andy Day. Hello. Intermit Tech. Good morning. Hey Christos. Hey Michael Hyde. Tablatronics. Hello. Was that Whopper taking over? It was not. It was pretty bad though. Hey, is it Anu? Good morning. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hello Nathaniel. Some new faces today. Excellent. Hey John. Mr. John Raymond. Stephen Mott. Hello. Andrew Wise. Hello. Good morning Tim. Hey Paul the Curtains. Hello L3D. Oops. I jumped quick. Did I say hi to Chris Hemmings? I don't know. Hello, Chris Hemmings. Mr. Grants! Mr. Grants is in the house. Hello. I hope you're well. Hey, Helmet. Good morning, Ian. Hello, Phil. Superdoo. Hello. Smetslitsky. Smetslitsky? Steve from Perth. Hello, Steve from Perth. That's an interesting name. Smetlitsky. Hello, Tom. Hey, Zoom. Wow, good turnout today, and some new faces, I think. So welcome to anyone that's new here. So generally, for those of you that are new, I generally just do a roll call at the start to say hi to those that are in the chat, and I try to say hi to anyone that pops into the chat as it comes through. But sometimes I miss people. Hello, Chris. New face. Do I have a new face? New faces. There's new names in the chat. There's not new faces in the chat because, let's face it, I can't see your faces. Some of you have faces on your avatars, but I wouldn't even trust that it's really you. I know that Ian Scott Johnson's avatar is actually him because I've seen him in real life. It's definitely him if you look at his avatar. But otherwise, I don't know anyone else. I definitely need my coffee this morning. Let's face the faces. Hello, James. Good morning, everyone. Didn't miss roll call. I'm still kind of doing it. White wall behind me. Yes, I need some art. So I'm working on a logo. I'm torn between two different RGB logos to go on my back wall, just for some bling. I used to have art on my wall in here, but I actually took it all down. I don't know. I go through phases where I like lots of color, and then sometimes I like the minimalistic look. So yeah, I need something on the wall. I need some logos. I need some branding behind me, I think is what I need. Good morning, Ian. You look like your avatar. Wow, I hope not. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Hello, is it Heed? Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, and I'm really good at messing people's names up. Hello, Marcel. Lots of folks from the Netherlands. Awesome. Show some spots, non-people doing very high frequency, and those black walls to get some colour. Yeah, I've got some RGB stuff I can put there, but I want to stick a laser cut logo up there. I've got some designs I'm working on, but I'm kind of torn. I've got a kind of a new version of my logo and my current version. Yeah, anyway. Hello, Milosh. Good morning. So, as you've all seen from the thumbnail, hey Peter. Hey mate, how are you? I just can't let my idea of my Nano go. So I've been doing some more work, some more research. There's a couple of specific things about it that I need to solve, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to talk through my reasoning and stuff, whatever. But before I do that, something exciting happened last night. I'm just going to... Oh no, I lost the page. Hang on, 1 second, I have to get this page again. Because I shut it down, didn't I? Yes, I did. So I'm just trying to find it again. Here we go. What's a nanogo? Nanogo? What's a nanogo? I don't know what a nanogo is. What are we talking about? So I'm going to switch to my desktop. And did everyone see this? I got to write up on Hackaday. Yay! I mean, I had to tip them off about the article. But yeah, Tom did a write up on my Whopper video, which is pretty cool. Because just between me and you, all, it was doing really poorly. It wasn't a very well accepted video, as in compared to some other videos. It was one of my worst, which was really disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. I was just really excited about it. I mean, obviously I spent way too long working about it and thinking about it, but it was something that I was really passionate about, and I thought I executed fairly well. You know, I didn't get it finished in that video because obviously there's, you know, I've got a follow-up video coming where I'm also going to cover some code and some breadboard stuff, and I'm going to do a write-up on Hackster.io for people that want to build it on a breadboard. And I am going to put some kits together because I've had a lot of people in the comments say they want kits, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but it just didn't do well. Like, YouTube didn't give it any love, and it just, like, my views were really, really low for one of my videos. So it was really nice that Hackaday grabbed it, and they gave me a bit of promotion about my TinyPICO as well, which is really cool. And it points to the Tindy TinyPICO page, because obviously Hackaday and Tindy are related. And I just missed a whole bunch of chat then. What just happened? No, I'm not going to do a sticker wall. I'm not sticking stickers on the wall. Not a chance. DDP's moved there. Cut off. It's clearly not working for you. You should have way more subs. Hey, thanks, Random Hacks. I don't know. I can't really comment. I'm biased, right? Like, yes, I think I should have way more subs than I've got right now. But you know, that's it's my channel. I'm biased, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I definitely know that I get very, very few suggested video help very little suggested video help from YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know. Way less than I would have expected according to analytics. So I don't know what the deal is there, but I don't know. I don't think anyone's got anything against me. But there you go. So I'm just looking at the rest of the chat. So watching a boring talk show on Dutch TV. We tune in here. Nothing wrong with talk shows on Dutch TV. Oh, I wouldn't know. I've never seen any, but I would assume they're okay. Hello, Chris Orban. Hello, Paul. So here, I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologise. And hello, Michael Hyde. Did I say hi to you already? I can't remember. There's a few Michaels here. Yeah, Wargames was amazing, Peter. It was just, it changed my life when I saw it. It was, I was into computers back then. I was really young. I was into computers back then. And this the first time I ever understood that computers could talk to each other. Like, it was a turning point for me, for sure. Hello, Anthony Lister. Missed down the TinyPICO Soda. Are you releasing the Nano version? We'll talk about the Nano version. It's interesting. We didn't miss out on TinyPICO because you can buy the TinyPICO now. Like, it's available from all sorts of places. Adafruit have them. Mauser have them. I have them. Crowd Supply still have them. You can buy them on Tindy, so you didn't miss out. Yeah, buy TinyPICOs. Yes. The reason why I wasn't doing well is because the only way to win is not to play. Alright, but that's not to watch. Sure, I don't know. Anyway, it's okay. Everyone tells me after 10k it'll accelerate, but I'm not quite sure about that. I don't believe it because the other things people have told me along the way haven't kind of fallen through either. Followed, whatever. It's so cool. I'm not complaining. My channel is what it is, and I'm keep going, and I'll keep doing it. I was just really surprised by the Whopper video. I thought it would do better than it did on its own. But it's obviously kicked off a little bit now because of the Hackaday article, which is great. There was only 2 comments, now there's more. I've got to read the comments. Let's see how brutal the comments are. In displays using the film were Whamco and Contestant taking displays with a red filter. Okay, so I'm not using the authentic displays. That's okay. I'm excited to get the project actually finished, as in get it up on my shelf with buttons and everything else and get it all kitted up. And I've got a new front plate coming for it that actually says Whopper on it, which is pretty cool. So let's jump right in. Let's get into this. Let me talk about the Nano and talk about why I can't let go of it. But let me have a coffee first. Huh? You got one at PiCon. You got a TinyPICO at PiCon. Did you get a TinyPICO off Matt Trentini when you were at PiCon? I know that I gave him a bunch he took with, and Matt sold a few at PiCon, so that's really cool. Hello, Christian. If I haven't said hi to you and you've popped in, hello, and I've missed you, I'm sorry, I apologise. It's lots of, again, yeah, new faces, big turnout. That's awesome. I'm glad you got one. Yeah, the director's commentary was great as well. The only thing I don't like about the War Games movie, I gotta say, the only thing, and it irks me every single time I watch it, I think the music they chose at the end of the film was just really weird. I don't know, it was just really out of place. Every time I get to the end of the film, I get such a rush at the very end, right? And then the music kicks in, and I go, oh. Yeah. Crazy. Okay, so hello, Live Art Rainbow. So here we go. I want to talk about the Nano and why I can't let go of it, and how, like, I've covered some of this stuff before, like the fallacy of making it. Fallacy? That's not the right word. The cons to making the Nano, right? The Nano. I'm going to switch camera now. I'm just to let you all know, I've got my macro lens, or my zoom, my close-up lens on my camera today. So it's really close, it's quite detailed, but I can't zoom out any more than what it is. It's a fixed zoom, okay? I'm just letting you all know. So, but we get to see nice and close, right? So this is currently my Nano, my current generation Nano, that's on my, I'll turn it around this way, that's on my Reflow Master Pro. So this is still my revision 1 Reflow Master, well Dev 1. My first revision Reflow Master Pro, which is working great. There's really nothing on there I need to change, other than I might consider putting maybe some debounce caps on the buttons, but I don't think I'm going to, because it's not really going to help. I need to move my button stuff over in MicroPython to async IO, which is a whole different discussion. Let's not worry about that. Hey Ed, how you doing? Welcome. So my plan was, as I mentioned quite a while ago on some streams last year, that I probably wasn't going to commercialize the Nano, and I was just going to use them for myself on my Reflow Masters. Now, I know it doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense building a board like this and then putting it on the Reflow Master, but I'll tell you why it does first, and why I haven't moved away from it. So my options on the Reflow Master are, I can, like it's ESP32, right? So I can stick a Room 32 on it, which is obviously bigger than my Nano, right? And then I still have to stick everything else. I still have to stick PSRAM, LDO, USB, and all of the stuff. So this module here, all it does is replace that one chip and that antenna, right? I still have to put the rest on. Hey Brian. Hey Randohin. Pre-bedtime. I hope you mean pre-children bedtime and not pre-your own bedtime, because you'd be going to bed really early if that was the case, right? Good to see you there, Brian. Hello, Dean. So, hello, Andy Mouse. I'm trying not to miss the chat. Thank you, Peter. Oh, hey, Matt. We were just talking about you. Are your ears burning? Anthony Lister just mentioned that he got a TinyPICO off you from PyCon. AU. Right, so to use a Room 32, it would take up a stack more space, right? I'd have to double the footprint on the board to fit it all in. And yes, it would work out a little bit cheaper, but not much. By the time I put everything else on, and this, and pay for this, I'm only going to save maybe a couple of dollars. Maybe, right? But I'm going to end up with a lot more space required on the board to do it. So I don't really want to use a Room 32. I could use a Rover, which has PSRAM built in, but it's much bigger again, right? And I'd still have to put all the rest of the stuff. I'd still have to stick the USB and everything else. And this is this is a complete microcontroller, right? So it's multi-purpose. So this has battery management, like it's got a PMIC on it, it's got everything it needs to put on any board. All I have to do is connect a USB connector to it. As you can see over here, I'm using USB-C. So I've just got USB going over to here, and that's it. That's the only thing I need to do is that, and give it 5 volts. So this is a complete solution where this or a Rover isn't. If that makes sense. Hey ho, Jad, are you going to be able to sell without certification? Okay, we'll get to that. Yes, I can sell anything without certification, right? It doesn't have to be certified to be able to use it. It needs to be certified to be able to ship it in a final product. Is there a constraint for the larger size PCB for the Reflow Master? There is. I can't. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I can't zoom the camera out any further. I'm sorry. I'm using my macro lens. That way we can get nice and close. Otherwise, this Nano would be tiny on the thing right now. But the constraint is, let me just go back to here for a second, so I can show you better. So the constraint for so here's the board, right? The constraint I've put myself on is, it's the size of the TFT, just a bit bigger than the TFT, right? So the TFT goes on there. The buttons stick out the side of the case, and that side is the other side of the case, right? Where you've got barrel jack and you've got USB. So the constraint for me was I wanted it to be only a fraction bigger than the LCD screen. That's all, right? So sure, I could make this PCB bigger to support a stack more room so I could fit everything on. I could definitely do that. But all that's really doing is increasing my cost per board for my PCB here. And it's not saving me money by doing it the other way. I still have to pick and place all the rest of the components on the board and stick a room on there. So it's not solving a lot of my problems. So that's the only really constraint. Okay, let me go back to the camera. So back, yeah. So now the other option would be to put this circuitry directly on the board. So don't use this castellated PCB. Just pick and place those components as they are directly on the board. The problem with that is I would have to then make this board a 4-layer board, not a 2-layer board. And the cost difference between making this Reflow Master PCB 4 layers over 2 layers pretty much outweighs what the cost of this PCB is, the castellated PCB, to make. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to try to put this directly on the board. Plus, I'd have to reroute the board considerably, because the advantage of using a module is I've got all the underneath free space to route signals through if I want to. So I'd still like to keep using the Nano on here. Now, let's talk about the one reason that's been a problem for me with the Nano, which I'm going to solve it today. I'm going to do the work to solve it today, but I worked out with JLC how I'm going to do it. And the issue is panelizing these boards. Currently, this board cannot be panelized. There's no space anywhere on the board other than the back and where the antenna sits over here down the bottom to panelize them. And let me show you that. So here are a bunch of boards I haven't even opened. These are my latest ones that I just got from JLC PCB. I got them, when did I get them? I don't know, a week a bit ago. Where's my Stanley knife? I've lost my knife. 1 second. Do I have my scissors? Okay, I got scissors. Sorry about that. Putting stuff directly on the PCB might be nicer, but it would keep it with the extra. I'm not sure what you mean by keep it with the extra PCB. Putting it directly on the board means that it's not reusable for me. So yeah, and I'm just going to take a few of these out so I can show you what I'm talking about. So these were made, so these are identical to what's on my currently on the Reflow Master, except these have the RF fix with the ground plane, because the one on my Reflow Master was before I realized that I had botched the ground plane. So these can't be panelized because there's no place, if you see here, I can't attach here because of the pins. So it can't attach here, and it can't attach anywhere else, the 3 sides, because of the castellated edges. The only way they could possibly be panelized, which is terrible, is like that. 2 at a time like that, but they're back to front, right? Let me just, I'm doing manual focus, so just bear with me. That's going to change my focal view just for a second. Sorry. It'll pop back out in a sec. I have not worked out how to adjust the viewfinder to not zoom in like that. Anyway. I'm going to go out for a walk, but Rando's going for a walk. Bye. I meant prefer how it is right now with the Nano. Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Yes, so many PCBs. So expensive. If someone doesn't have Retronics insider knowledge and knows micro BC happens to be in John's Superhouse Discord. I'll have a chat with John later today and find out which one he's using for you, Rando. And I'll let you know. So obviously panelizing like that doesn't make sense. So that's been a real bottleneck for me, right? I don't want to hand build one of these at a time. If I don't panelize them, they can't be pick and placed. Oh, bye Ed, catch you later. Hey Michael. Still at work, changing network backbone. Ooh. Okay, have fun doing that. Wow, 1 gig to 10 gig. That's exciting. Hey, Alan. Gold-plated holes. What was that? Between the gold-plated holes, the can scared? Sorry, Marcel. That's been lost in translation. Are you pick and play Nano board? You must deploy hand placing. Right now, I have to hand place them because they come as individual boards, and that can't be mounted inside the pick and place machine. Right? So these would need to be panelized for me to be able to pick and place them. So I've been having a chat with JLC PCB about it, and we've worked out what the minimum requirements are for me to be able to, so I'm going to have to change the board to be able to panelize them. And so what I need to do is, I need to, where's a pointer? I need a pointer. Here we go. So what I need to do, I need to change the castellated edges. I'm going to go, so these are currently 2mm pitch. I'm going to change these today to a 1.27mm pitch. So it's a 0.05 inch. So it's half the size of a normal pin pitch, like on the TinyPICO. Okay, it's half of this. And it's a standard size. Like 2mm isn't really a standard size, 1.27 is. But it doesn't really matter what size it is. As long as the footprint matches it, you can make them whatever you want, right? The reason I didn't go to 1.27mm on this before was I didn't need to, back when I wasn't planning on panelizing it and I was just experimenting. But if I'm going to be able to build these in a cost-effective way, they need to be panelized, right? If I have to hand assemble these for everyone, so cost-effectively, take a step back. So on the Reflow Master, doing it on a castellated board and building it this way is not going to be any more expensive for me than doing it any other way, right? But the time it's going to take me to build these one at a time is the killer. Hey, Hibotronics. Welcome. The killer is the time to assemble this board. And so the only way to fix that is to pick and place it. And I've got a pick and place machine. So what we've worked out is I need to have 4mm over here. So I'm trying to center this because it's on OBS, it's in a different place to where it is on my camera screen. Hey, Bloggers F. So I need 4mm here, 4mm here, and 4mm here. And if I leave 4mm space here, here, and here, and I've already got space here, then JLC PCB will do a custom panelization for me. And I'll be able to panelize as many as I want on a board. And then I can pick and place them. So up until working that out with them yesterday, my biggest hurdle was pick and placing. And now I think I'm going to have a solution for that. So today on the stream, I'm going to make these changes live because I haven't done any of this yet because I only found this out last night. Perfect timing. And I'm also going to make a couple of other small changes to the board as well, just electronics wise. And so that solves my biggest hurdle, is how would I assemble them? So coffee time. Greetings and welcome to everyone who's joined. It hasn't been mentioned. Yes, if I haven't mentioned anyone, thank you, Peter. Appreciate that, mate. I think Tinkerfun was already in before. Hey, HMX. And you don't want bottom pads to make placement easier. What do you mean bottom? You don't want bottom pads. I'm not sure what you mean by bottom pads, HMX. Can you explain? Non-cancellation costs when you have multiple adjacent ones and the holes are cut in half. How do they make the boards currently not in a panel? Well, they do make them in a panel. They do. So that's what's interesting. That's why I knew that they could solve this, right? I knew they could solve this because if I look under a microscope, one day I might be able to use my microscope again on my channel. But if I look under a microscope, I can see that they got cut edges here, and I can see just here that it's not straight, and it's not straight just here. I don't know how they've put them on their board to make these. They've obviously had them sitting on a bigger board, okay? And I don't know how they've cut them out, but they've obviously done that, right? They haven't built them like this. They've built them on a bigger panel. But however they've done it, it's not the way they normally panelize them, right? I don't know. Yeah, like me doing these individually, they have to deal with how to make them. But if I tick panelize on these and leave them as they are, they'll come back and knock them back and say they can't panelize them. So I need to be able to panelize them. Now, someone just mentioned you could make a jig to hold the current model, Dave. So I could potentially make a 3D printed jig that I could hand place a whole bunch of these into and panelize them. Yes, I could. That is one thing I could do, and that was going to be one of my fallback plans. God, not in camera view, sorry. So let's say I built a jig that I could stick 6 at a time in, and I could pick and place those. That is definitely something I could do. The problem with that is the jig would need to hold this perfectly still. It'd have to be really tight because the pick and place vibrates, right? And to make that really tight, once it's in there, I don't know how I'm going to get them back out again. There's no clear place I can grab these and pull them out of a holder and not risk pushing the components around. Like, I just don't know how I'd get them out again. There's no way I could rely on trying to pull them out with tweezers. Does that make sense? So, it's something I could do, but I reckon I would end up wrecking half the boards trying to get them back out of the holder. How do they make boards? Pads similar to those used on the SparkFun and Adafruit modules. I'm not sure what you mean, pads. HMX? So I'm lost on what you're trying to explain to me. I apologise. Placed an order for my large PCB dough from JLC today. Yeah, I placed a big order the other day, unfortunately, and I missed their cutoff by 8 hours. My own fault. I misread their cutoff dates. So they're not going to get made until January, when's the thing? February 1st? Oh well, what can I do? Hey James, would it be possible to put them in a pallet tray before? Well, that's what David mentioned. I just don't know how, because there are components all the way to the edges. Like, we're talking about 2mm gap between the castellated edge and the components. I don't know how I'd get them back out again without risking knocking a whole bunch of parts. I just don't think it's the way I want to go. I need something reliable. Especially because if I can solve this, then I'd be prepared to sell these commercially. Right? If I had a way of building them. Now you've got to remember, they're single-sided. Right? There's a pad on the back just for heat transfer for the ground plane. But they're single-sided. They're pretty easy to assemble and on a pick-and-place machine. And I could rip through them and it would make sense on the pick-and-place. Any other way, it just wouldn't make any sense to me. Such as NRF Bluetooth low module. You'd have to point me to... I'll have a look at, but I'm not quite sure I'm not sure what you mean, like how that would help in this case. Option, but the other option is you can V-score castellated holes. No, JLC PCB will not. They will not do this and V-score them. They won't do it, and the reason they won't do it is their V-score is not accurate enough. And I can tell you right now, it's not accurate enough because I get TinyPICOs come through where some of them are so close to touching the gold plating on the header pins. It's just, there's no way they could be castellated and V-scored. They'd end up chewing the edges of the pads. But it's okay. I have a solution now, right? My solution is change the pins to give myself more space, the pitch, give myself more space, and then they can panelize them, and that's done. And it's a fairly easy change. So it can take 5 seconds, but it's a fairly easy change. I would want a milled aluminium jig for that use. Well, I can't make a milled aluminium jig, and I'm still going to have problems getting them out again. Even if I had a little lip on the corner to be able to dig something in of the jig to pull it out, I'm still having to, one by one, pull them out of a really tight fixture and somehow grab them with my fingers and not knock the parts on the side. I just don't want to risk it. How about losing the castellated holes and make the thing BGA with pads at the bottom? I don't like that idea. Because I don't think that's a great solution for anyone else using them. Maybe for me, but not for other people. People are used to working with castellated edges. So, if I'm going to do this and panelize them, then I want to do it in such a way that people are comfortable with, right? I mean, people are used to putting a room 32 on, right? I mean, you look at the pitch here. That's 1.27 mil pitch. So it's not a pitch it's uncommon. And that's all I have to do. I just have to change the pitch to that. If you look at the density there, that's going to give me a lot more space on the sides, and that's all I really need to do. You want some milling? Really? Who's going to do the milling, Matt? Anyway, catch you later. Have a good day at work, mate. Drifting V-scores when the bank. Yeah, V-scoring is... Well, my own experience with V-scoring is JLC PCB, and it's very inaccurate. And my last batch of boards, I got V-scored from them. For those of you that remembered my depaneling video, I can't even break these apart. I've currently, on my last TinyPICO run, I've smashed 11 or 12 antennas now, pulling the boards apart, because I cannot physically get them apart. Because the V-scoring, one end of the panel is really good, and the other end of the panel, it's like the blade hasn't even touched the board. Like I'm breaking solid 1 mil FR4. There's just no score at all on them. So it's just, yeah, I'm not going to rely on V-scoring like that. You'd make them by hand. Love soldering. Well, I don't mind making stuff by hand. I've proven that, but I don't want to make hundreds of them, and it doesn't make any sense for how long it takes me to do. Not if I'm doing it commercially. I definitely don't want to do it. And I've got a pick and place sitting here. Like, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Haven't been able to place my PCB orders for a month. Can't get an Eagle to run. What? Really? I've had no problems with Eagle on my Mac. Oh, you went to Catalina, didn't you, Johnny? That could be why. Seems like you would have had to remove one pin on that edge for more room. Right, remove one pin or just go to a smaller pitch and then I've got enough room, which is what I'm going to do. It's an easy change. It's an easy-ish change, John, is what I meant, compared to redesigning the whole board. So if I change pitch, I don't have to change size of the board. If I don't change the pitch, I have to make the board bigger. Now, that leads me to the next thing. Hey Jay, my message is not getting through. Which messages? You're talking about, have you been emailing me, Jay? If you have, I have not received them. Hey Catalin Tibulka? Catalin Tibulka. Apologise. Tagged you with an image on Discord. Okay, I'll have a look, HMX. Sorry, it's getting cold. I need to drink it. Oh, you reflow... Interesting, you reflow them on the aluminium. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure if my oven... So I'd have to... One of the key things is I'm going to have to... Obviously, I can't use my low temp paste, which is fine. I'd have to use my SAC paste to a super high temp, which is fine. My oven can do that. But I don't think it would do it with an aluminium jig. I'm pretty sure that I would end up... Yeah, under reflowing it. There's no way it would take the extra heat. The extra heat I'd have to pump, I'd end up melting my PCBs like I've done in the past. Long time ago. So I don't want to take that risk. Sorry, there's lots of chat today, which is great. Lots of questions. I'm now on a fresh install of Catalina. Go back to Mojave if you can, mate. Go back to Mojave. To be fair, your solution makes the most sense if you've got the space to do it. I do have the space to do it. Did I say hi, James? If I didn't, hi. Wow, I'm losing my mind. My memory down. Yeah, I can see you. Test. That's weird. I'm still on Mojave. I can't move to Catalina. I'm not prepared to risk it. Hey, BLR Rocket Technologies. It's not new. It's already an existing... It's existing TinyPICO, as you can see here. But I want to change how I do it to make it production worthy. My stream is breaking up. Sorry, bad humor. Okay, so I am going to close this. I'm going to open this. Whoa, that's big. Too big. And I'm going to switch. No, I'm redesigning. That's what I'm doing. Redesigning my current. Here we go. Just need to move my chat so I can see it. And now we have Eagle. So this is the current Nano as it stands. 360p for me. Really? Try refreshing your browser. Hey James, I missed you while you were away. I did. Where'd you go? I didn't even know you were away. Sorry, mate. Helmet, unlimited gig, you complete to solid state, then remove the assemblies. Yeah, I didn't know that, Helmet. That's interesting. That's why obviously people are talking about aluminium. I just don't know if I could do with the deal with the thermal mass on my oven. Look, I really want to get a new oven. I've got my heart set on the latest Neoden. That's a conveyor oven, and that will definitely do it. But I feel like if I can solve all this just by... Oh, everyone's at 360. I don't have any drop frames here. My stream's going okay here. Maybe it's a YouTube thing. Holy moly, 134 concurrent users. What the? It says my stream's good, so maybe try to refresh your browser. Maybe, hopefully. Yeah, just refresh, please, and it should kick back in. That's no PCB software. I use Mento graphics and hyperlinks. Okay, we're not getting into a debate about CAD software. We're not. We're absolutely not. We're just going to use whatever you use, like whatever you like. And there we go. Yeah, so this is the current board. And right, so I need to make new... So I don't even have the right pitch pads. So I need to make some new custom pads for these. Hey, Gaston. We're getting into the bait. No, we're not getting into the... No, we're not doing the rant bit yet. Maybe we'll save that to the end. Notice how I didn't do a rant on Friday, by the way. 134 concurrent viewers. That means I've had probably 200 different viewers since it started. Yeah, 37 likes. That's okay. My first thing I got today, yesterday was a dislike as soon as I posted the thing. That's okay. If you guys want to do a rant, or do a comparison about EDA software, go for it. But I'm staying out of it this time. Absolutely staying out of it. So the other change I want to make is... Oh, that's what... Okay. See, now I'm all over the map again. But we're going to try to stay focused today. So there's two other changes I want to make. The first one is I want to put an extra pin on here. I want to stick an enable pin. And I want to hook up a resistor to the enable of the LDO, which is this one here. And I want to, be able to... Not that I need it specifically for the Reflow Master, I don't. Just like I don't need the VBAT. But having an enable pin on there would be good. So I want to do that. But the other thing I need to consider now, if I'm going to change this, is... What's if I do want to stick an RF shield on here? Now, we've spoken about this before. I'm not talking about certifying the board. Because I don't think I'm ever going to do the numbers that's going to justify certifying the board. Like, it's as simple as that. It doesn't make any financial sense to me. And the board doesn't have to be certified for me to sell it. But it needs to be certifiable. Now, we've discussed this before, right? So I've been looking at RF shield manufacturers in China. And getting RF shields is not expensive. I could probably get a custom RF shield built for this for about 20 cents each. On small numbers, like 500 units, because that's small, maybe 25 or 30 cents each. Over 1,000 units, maybe down to as low as 15 cents, because it's pretty small. But to get an RF shield on here, I need to make the board bigger. I need more clearance between the components and the pads. And I'm talking about quite a bit of clearance. I'm talking about making the board, probably 4 millimeters wider, probably needing at least 2 or 3 mil on each side, so maybe 4 or 5 millimeters wider, and about 4 to 6 millimeters longer, maybe even more. So that's another thing I need to consider. If I go down the road of getting a shield designed, even if I don't get them made, working out the footprint for it, and leaving space for the shield now, and I'll show you what I mean by space. So I'm just jumping back to to here again. So this is the ESP32S2 development board. This is the current, sorry, I'm going to have to do this again. Right, and now it's going to sit for, it's actually a really good microscopic view, this is. Hey Sean, CHYT. Right, so as you can see here, this is an area for a shield. So the shield gets soldered directly onto these pads, just like this has been on the Room 32. So I would need to leave something like this on the board to put a shield onto, and that would have to be worked out beforehand. So I'd need to have the shield design done and the solder sections for the design done and everything ready to go to be able to allow a shield to be put on the Nano. And allowing the shield to be put on the Nano, look, we discussed many streams ago that it's not 100% needed to have it shielding, but allowing a shield to be put on there can only improve the ability for the board to be certified. So that's something I've been looking into, but that's going to completely slow me down. Right? If I'm going to stick a shield on here, then by the time I go through all of the repetition, no, it'd have to be a solder shield, not a clip-on shield. By the time I go through all the repetition of a new layout for the board, working out some space for the shield, going to a manufacturer in China, even if it wasn't Chinese New Year coming up, getting a custom shield designed, coming back, seeing if it fits and works, back and forwards, we're probably talking about 2 months, 2 or 3 months, I would at a guess. I could be wrong, it might be faster, I've never done this before, but I guess the rule with this type of stuff is work out how long you think it's going to take and then times it by 5. And it should really only be condensed, maybe 2 weeks worth of work, but it's going to get spread over time. Shipping time, back and forwards, communication time. Obviously, if I'm doing a small number or getting prototypes made, that's going to happen slow with the manufacturer. So I'm not sure right now I want to hold up the board doing that, but it's definitely something I can look at doing later, right? I can definitely take my design and change it up, make more space, and be able to put a shield on it. So it's something I'm definitely looking at doing. Okay, so now that we've got that out the way, I'm just going to get to work. I'm just going to start, I think. So what I need to do is, it's going to be weird doing all this in Eagle at the same time. So here's my schematic view of my Nano. And so I need to replace these headers. There's 3 headers. There's those 2, and I've got one over here. I might just start with this one first. And I need to make, so this is a 6 pin. I need a 7 pin 0.27mm header. So pretty sure this is in my own unexpected library. It is. So I'm going to open this footprint to start with. Which is over here. And so I'm used to working on 2 screens doing this, so it's going to be weird. I'm going to have windows on top of each other. That way you can see everything I'm doing. So do I have any 7s? So I need a 7. I have a Con 7, no silk, 2mm. 717. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this and call it 1.27mm. And where to go? So I don't know, this must be a bloody old question, but can you get the PS RAM in BGA? No, I can't. There is a WSON version of the PS RAM, and it's a bigger package, but it's a smaller overall footprint because it doesn't have the legs sticking out the side, but it's more expensive. So I save all up only 1mm by 1mm, but I pay more for it, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Let's just quickly just go back to the board for a second, just so I can, not that board, but this board. So I'll talk about the areas that I could save some space just quickly, right? So this is a dual NPN transistor for the auto reset. I can swap this out with an Exxon, is it 6? And I could save half the space of this by putting a different transistor package here, but it's 3 times the price, right? it's a little bit bigger than the LDO. It's a 6-pin version of this, so I could save half the space here, but also have potentially a harder challenge putting it on because of the type of package it is, right? This transistor, so this resistor over here is going to go. It's on the TX line of the USB and it's not needed. I put it there just in case I had attenuation problems, and I don't. So I'm going to take that off today. But that doesn't really free up a lot of space, really. Yeah, the RAMs are killer. The PS RAMs are killer because of the size of the feet. But I'm only going to save 1 mil by 1 mil if I change the package, and again, pay more money. I know it looks like the Pico D4 is wasting space on the angle I've got it, but it's actually not. I went through a lot of iterations on laying out my TinyPICO originally, and even this board, and rotating this back to a standard rotation, a non-45 degree rotation, doesn't actually save me any space. What it does is introduces a lot more layer hopping, especially for the PS RAM. So unfortunately, although it doesn't look like a lot of space, it's the optimal size. If you remove that resistor, don't you risk ESD issues? No, not really. That resistor's not there for ESD. It's there for like that's currently a 0 ohm resistor. Like I don't have anything on my TX line on the TinyPICO. I mean, ideally I'd have ESD protection on the D plus and D minus, but that's something that anyone can put on themselves externally, right? Because this is an external D plus and D minus. So if you want to stick your own TVSs on here, you can. It's not a problem if your design requires it. But you know, the TinyPICO has no ESD protection on it. Most development boards ship without ESD protection. Interestingly, this board does have ESD protection. You can see just here, there's 2 TVSs just there. But the Pico D4, oh, maybe that does. Maybe that one does as well. I don't know. So it looks like Espressive might have, but most boards that you buy from your Spark Funds and your Adafruits and everything else don't have any ESD protection on them. So I'm not going to get into the ESD thing on it. Yeah, the antenna does look very Facebooky, doesn't it? So there's not really a lot of space I can save, unfortunately, on here. I could save some space by going 0201, which I would never do if I was assembling by hand. It just doesn't make any sense for me. But if I was I can't pick and place on my current machine 0201, but if I upgraded my pick and place machine, that's a whole different discussion. I could go 0201 on a lot of these passives and save a little bit of space. That might allow me to compress things a bit more, but not enough to get a shield on. I would still have to make the board bigger. Turn my aircon off for a bit. It's getting a bit cold in here. So that's why my $50 Adafruit board is dead, lack of ESD protection. I don't think so. There's good reasons you see 45 placements on really dense boards. Yeah, look, I don't know. For me, I started 45 degrees because I love the look of 45 degrees. I mean, if you look here, that's why I've got my, you know, I think artistically that looks kind of nice. But it's also just because I can't fit, like just from a routing point of view, it actually becomes a much harder challenge on 4 layers. 6 layers is easier, or if I was using buried vias, that would solve all of it, but buried vias just, or vias, however you want to say them, really kills the price. Really kills the price. Oh, Chris is going. Catch you later, Chris. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and 45 degrees just looks cool, I think. It does. Okay, so I need to change these. So let's it's gonna make it easier for myself. Go away. So I'm gonna set my grid size. I'm gonna go to millimeters, and I'm gonna make it millimeters. I said. Okay, it already is 1.27. Good. So these need to be. You're not gonna let me change them, are you? Position 1.27. That, you know what, I'm going to turn the rectangles off for now and just work on the pads. Okay, this will be 2.54. Avid David. What's Avid David? Oh, David Watts, hello. Have a listen, Walking Back Football. No aircon needed here. Yeah, well, it's been a few hot days. Oh, what did I do? That's diameter. That's really silly. 2.54. Now, obviously, the annulars on these are too big. I need to change the drill sizes. I'll do that in a moment. I want to just get these in the right spot to start with. So what's 2.54 plus 1.27? Is it going to let me do a plus? No, it's not. That's really annoying. 0.54. And I can just move it. I'm doing this the lazy way. I could have just started from scratch. I probably should have just started these from scratch. Whoops. Okay. I'll fix the pads in a second. Must have remembered that by now. 3.81. No, because I don't normally work in 2.54. In 1.27 spacing. So I want actually these to be square, not round, and I want the drill size to be. I don't know. What I need to do actually is I'm just going to make them 0.5 for the moment and make this 1 just for the moment. I need to go and look at an existing 1.27 footprint of anything. Here's one here, and find out what they're using for drill size. So they're using. Let's go back to mil. Okay, they're using 1 and 0.508. 1 and 0.508. Okay. 7. Every time I come back in here, it changes back to mil. It's really annoying. Wish I would remember 1 and 0.5. Okay, that's pretty close. 0.508. Okay. Wow, they're really close. Can you just not use mouse bites with a milled border? Right, but I have no place for mouse bites. There's no room. The whole point of doing this is to leave the space at the edges for the mouse bites. I can't put mouse bites on the castellated edges. Whether it's mouse bites or V-scored, it doesn't matter. There needs to be edge to do that, right? And right now I have no edge. And the only way I can get the edge is to reduce my pitch on my pins. Now I'm reducing these, but I'm adding an extra pin. But on that side, it should be okay. Lots of birds outside chirping. Can you hear them? Yeah, that's really annoying. Let me just turn these pads off for the moment, and I need to fix all of these. Put them in the right spot. I hate how it does from and to. Come on. Okay. And are these named? I don't even know why it has these, to be honest with you. Bit annoying. Maybe I'm just going to delete those and just recreate new ones. We'll just do that. Oops. I think they're just there for markers visually. They're probably not even needed. Okay. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I missing any chat? I thought the birds were my end. Unladen swallow. Crowley needs his own blue spanner, does he? Okay, so I go to con 7. Okay, got my 2mm silk. I need to add local package. So for those of you that have never built something inside Eagle before, in terms of like a footprint, a device or anything, it's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Oh, the back pads. Whoops, forgot about that. Forgot about the back pads. Oops, and that's the print. So what I've done on these is on the bottom layer, I should have just done standard to start with. I've got bigger pads on the bottom, so there's more space. Weren't you going to add thread form for the shield so you could give enough space? Not right now, not for the moment, because I don't know how much space I need for the shield. I don't know what the footprint for the shield is going to be. For the moment, I'm going to start by just changing my pitch on my pins to make sure that I've got the 4mm space on the edges to be able to panelize to start with. Then I'll look at seeing what I'd need to do to add a shield. But as I mentioned before, adding a shield is going to be probably a 3-month process to work out how that's going to work, where I don't particularly want to wait 3 months right now to get a panelized board working. I don't need that for my Reflow Master. It doesn't have to be shielded. I don't, well, yeah. Well, that's a whole different discussion. Right, so yeah, on the bottom, what I do, just quickly show you. So on the bottom, I was using round pins for the top here. I'm changing those to square. But on the bottom, I was using square. I'm not sure if you can see. So the way I did that was just by adding some extra. Uh-oh, OBS died. But I think we're back. OBS did die, but I think we're back. So it happens when I don't look at the screen. Still blaming Andy Callaway for this. It's Andy Callaway's fault. Because he jinxed it. Did everyone catch that? Why I've got square on the... Okay, need to focus. So there's square on the back and currently round on the front, but I want to do square on both. But I want the pads on the bottom to come in further. Right, I want more space on the bottom just so they died again. Okay. Just restarted OBS again. Might be a short stream today, folks. Wow. Sorry. I've had such a good run with OBS. I've had such a good run with OBS over the last few weeks. It's been fantastic. But today, it is... That's 3 times. I'm not looking... I'm not expecting this stream to continue for too long today if it's going to keep doing this. Sorry. Okay, let's get back to Eagle. It's always something. It is always something, unfortunately. And in this case, it's annoying. Actually, if I put that... It's not going to let me put it there. No, great. So I need to fix these bottom pads. Oh, and again. Hello, Autodesk, if anyone's watching. I don't want to click default. Oh my god, that didn't stick. .27. Wow, they're really close. I have to fix those. I'll fix them in a second. 2.54. What was it? 3.81? 3.81, someone said. That'll be 5.08. And what's the next one, folks? Anyone know the next one? Will these be on sale soon? Depends what you call soon. Define soon. 5.08, and then, whoops, what happened then? It was not a 5. Was it a 5? 0.08. Where'd it go? Interesting. Resolution dropped. Still a wonder that you can see someone from Australia live in the Netherlands. Yeah, well, it doesn't always work though, does it? Come on, move over. Okay, and now I need to grab them all. Oops. And I want just SMD, and I want them to be much thinner. How thin do I want them? It was 1, wasn't it, to match? Okay. So you can see that they're a bit longer than the other pads. I want them to have a bit more room, just to get a bit more solder space. Hey, did you cool things? Well, I want to get these. Obviously, JLC are closing for their Chinese New Year, so I'm not even going to be able to get these manufactured for another, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, which kind of sucks. So during that time, I might consider looking at doing an RF thing, but I can't deal with the guys in China about the RF because it's Chinese New Year, so I doubt any of that's going to get solved. By the way, this is taking much longer than it normally would. Hey Marcos. Hey Imagination 2 from. By default, the pads don't have the right radius. Well, you set the right radius. You set the radius and stuff you want yourself. Like you got, yeah. There's no default pad for 1.27 or anything. Well, not that I know of. I mean, there might be a default thing that I could pull in and use, but I don't know. So that one there. Need to add that, and that's going to be 1.27 millimeters. And I need to hook up all the pins. Connect. Because I need to hook up the bottom and the top, because there are separate pads. Okay, we save that. And now I can come back to here. In my schematic, I can add a new, I have to update my library first. To bring in the new item, so I can now go add. And in my unexpected maker, Con 7, I now have Con 7 1.27 millimeter pitch. So I'm going to put it, just going to place it just for the moment, and in my board view I'm going to move it into the right place so I can then just delete the other one. So as you can see, that's 7 of them, and it's still smaller than the 6. That's pretty crazy. So do I want them centered? Probably. I don't even know where the center mark is. I'm not quite sure that the ones I've got there right now are exactly centered, but that'll do. It's not going to let me place that though, because it's slightly outside my thing. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put that at 0. Okay, and then what I do to swap it out, wow. Sorry folks, I don't know what to tell you. It's back up again now. It's I don't know what to do. OBS is just not going to behave today. Why make a new part? Why not just add a variant package to the existing part? John, because the existing part is 6-pin and this is a 7-pin. So in part of the process of doing this, I'm adding one extra pin because I want to stick an enable on there. If it was just a 6-pin, I'd just make a variant of this part. But I've gone from 6 to 7. It's terribly bad software. I don't know, like it's been really behaving itself. I don't know why it's changed. What changed? Anyway, so if I delete that one, I can now move this one into place. Make sure it's connected. And now I have, just gonna make this EN. And now I have a 7-pin that's much smaller in place of a 6-pin. So who was saying, so use 0.6mm drill and 1.8mm pad for 1.27. Okay, this is a 0.5. I can make it bigger. Sure. So that needs to be rerouted, but let's rip that up. Looks a bit different with the bottom on as well. So yeah, I need to reroute that. Most of it's pretty close. Or not. So now I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I need a 13-pin version. And I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe a 12-pin version, because now that I'm going to have some more space, there's one more I/O I can break out, GPIO 9, which is currently not broken out. And I'd like to break it out if I can find a way of routing it. It's a little squishy in here at the moment, as you can imagine. And I'd rather not do too much layer hopping if I can get away with it. Haven't placed a PCB order in a while. Need to put one in after Chinese New Year. Well, you only need to place one if you're got something to make. So if I get rid of this, here's the thing. If I get rid of this resistor over here, and this just becomes TXD, I've now cleared up some space where I can grab this and I can also move this. 5, yep, that'll do. Go away. And I've now got a lot of room inside here. I heard you need to invest in it. Right. Yeah, so I'll talk about that while I'm doing this. So I'm pretty much about to run out of a whole bunch of parts for assembling TinyPICOs. The biggest of which is my Pico D4s. The blue traces are the bottom layer. So this is a 4-layer board. So I'll quickly show you that. So the top is, so that's the top layer, which is used for signal. And then the bottom layer is also used for signal on the bottom. All right. And then the two middle layers, there's a ground layer, which is this here, which if I fill that, you'll see. So this is the ground pad. So this is this is layer 2. And then there is a power layer, which is layer 3. So the layer 2 and layer 3 are internal layers, and the layer 3 is broken into 3 different zones. So this is a VBAT. This is the 5 volt from the USB, and this is 3.3 volts, which is going to have to change because my 3.3 volt pin is now over here. Maybe I'll swap those two around actually and put 3.3 volts above. So they're the 4 different layers I'm using. Let's go back to the top. Yeah, so I'm pretty much about to run out of all of my D4s. I've got CP2104s, I'm about to run out of RAM, I'm about to run out of antennas. And so I need to, invest in a whole bunch more stuff, and I need to buy them in reels. If I don't buy them in reels, the cost per unit is too high. It's too high to justify not buying in reels, but it's also, buying another 2,000 Pico D4s. Am I going to sell another 2,000 TinyPICOs? I don't think so. I've had a really good run, but 2,000 units. I don't know. But leveraging stuff like the Nano that also uses the D4 means that I don't have to, I'll be able to use my D4s on those as well, and it reduces for me the risk, I guess, of investing in so many of them. But yeah, the question is how many TinyPICOs will be sold in the future. Right, I don't know. I don't know how many, and so far all of my guesstimations have been wrong. So I don't know how many it's going to be, and sorry, I'm just I want to see if I can squeeze this. We can't get that down anymore. Playing the game of shuffling traces to be able to, where's that one go? Okay. It's pretty crazy that the scale that I'm working on right now, I can't get that any closer. So this is the closest, it's not the closest tolerance that JLC PCB do, but it's pretty close. I don't want to go any tighter in my tolerances. James still remembers how many orders there were on Crowd Supply. That's really funny. I'll definitely sell more than 0, but will I sell another 2,000? That's the question. That's, But here's the thing. The difference in cost between me buying small, like on tape, buying from somewhere else, or buying the minimum order I can buy from Espressive, I only have to sell 900 TinyPICOs to end up being the same, 800 TinyPICOs to end up being the same cost that if I buy 800 of them from somewhere else, the price for them would end up being the same as a 2,000 reel. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and buy the reel. Right, and I can use them. So all my other parts, well, pretty much can be used for other projects, right? The RAM gets used on the S2 board, plus my other new board that I haven't shown yet. I'll do a reveal at some point. The CP2104 is pretty much only for the D4, but it gets used on the Nano. I am working on a new TinyPICO Pro, or Plus Pro, whatever. We'll save that for another stream. So the key for me would be to leverage the D4 and the parts I've got. I've got a brand new reel of CP2104s. That's 1,500 of them. That's already done and paid for. As long as you aren't sitting on them for too long, there's a price drop. Tiny Pro Plus. Well, I'm not worried about a price drop on them. I'm just worried about being stuck with them and, you know, not having anything to do with them, I guess. I really want to... Okay, so I've got enough room now. So I can pull this out. I can move this. And I can pull out number 9. Whoops. Needs to be that one. It's a business risk, absolutely. And it's I'm not adverse. I'm just going to leave that like that. I'm going to have to work out where I'm going to route it to. Whether I take it to the top or the bottom, because don't think I'm going to get it through to the bottom easily. I'm not averse to business risks, but you got to remember I don't have a viable business right now, and I don't have a viable income right now. So tying up, like the money I'll be tying up to buy all these components is my savings that I'm using to live off. So it just reduces, you know, anything I buy that I don't use at that scale, right? Just eats into how long I can do this for before I run out of money. Like, it's different if it was a profitable business and you're just investing in more components. But yeah, I don't have a viable business yet. If that makes sense? Okay, so I am going to break that one out. So one of these has to be longer. It's probably going to be this bottom one. Maybe if I can find out, if I can get this one. And yeah, I really don't like the way this splits either, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to get this around, I don't think. I'll work it out at some point. I don't trust that OBS is going to be alive long enough to do this. Keep looking at OBS. I'm getting distracted right now all the time, so I keep checking to see whether it's died or not. Okay, so I need to do, I might, hello, Eagle. Okay, open up device. For you, I would consider making some IoT shields. Who are you talking to, Jay? How long to viability? Very, very long. Unobtainable at the moment, I would say, for viability. Because you gotta. So obviously the crowd supply campaign was great. Like like I didn't break even last year, but I took my burning through savings from here almost to a break-even point for last year. But I can't do a crowd supply campaign every year. Or even if I could, I can't guarantee I'm going to do the same type of size. You know what I mean? Like my Pro S2 board, I think is going to do fairly well, but nowhere near the numbers of my TinyPICO, I don't think, because of the nature of the chip on there. Right? There's a lot of cool features in the S2, ESP32 S2, but it's single core and there's no Bluetooth, and that's going to be a deterrent for a lot of people. So I think, I am planning on doing a crowd supply campaign for a variation. Hey, Dustin. For a variation of my Pro S2 board, but it's not going to be a big campaign. So again, I can't rely on a campaign 1 or 2 a year to try to make my business sustainable. And you got to remember, me building all those TinyPICOs wasn't sustainable. Like, I got it done, but it was, it near killed me. So yeah, 13. I think I'm going to do this on. I think I'm going to make a 14. Make this one a 14 and take that IO9 up to the top. I'm going to duplicate this, no silk, 1.27 millimeter. Now I have to go through that same problem again of having to replace all of these, which is really annoying. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to remove that. and I'm going to take that 7 that I just did, duplicate that, and just expand it. I think that's a much better idea. J, IoT shields to interact with Lexa. Oh, okay, cool. Stuff with high durability, stability applications. So why not do a crowd supply that has a pre-buy-in? Might be a runner. What do you mean by a pre-buy-in? I don't follow. But hi, by the way, Seth Dundrum. What do you mean by that has a pre-buy-in? That's how all crowd supplies work. Like people back it and then you go and make it. So I'm not quite sure what you mean. Yeah, I should have, how would I make my Whopper monitor OBS though? Like that would have to be, I'd need some software on my machine to monitor OBS, and if I'm doing that anyway, I don't need Whopper to go off. I could just have my computer alarm go off, I guess. Hi to all the orange people. Who's orange? Okay, sorry. So if I should be able to just do that and then copy and then do that, and I've now got 14. And did it renumber them right? 7, 8, 9, 10? It did. Look at that. That was nice and easy, wasn't it? I'd say increase your visibility, supply any files for the compilers I to use. Have the bloggers use them. I'm not sure who Jay's talking to. I don't think you're talking to me, right? Supply any files for the compilers IDEs. Oh, the Dutch natural colour is really is it orange? I didn't know that. I love orange. Well, I like a sunburnt orange colour. That's my favourite. Okay, so that's a 14 one. So I need to go 14, and I need to add that. New local package 14 1.27 millimeter. Do everything to make it easier to use them. You talking to me, Jay? I mean, absolutely. I tried to do that with my TinyPICO, right? Well, there's only, I tried to do learning guides and example code and all sorts of stuff, and shields and example code for shields. It's too hard to do one person. It's too much to do for one person. I mean, I discussed that on my last stream, I think. So, I mean, that's the other problem I've got, is I've only got one set of hands. Oh, what have I done? 1, 2, where's 3? Oh, okay. No, something broke. Discard changes. That's not right. There's something wrong with this. What did I do? Did I not? And collaborating with someone? I'm all up. Well, collaborating is hard on something like a TinyPICO or a Pro S2. Like, how do I collaborate unless they're a partner in it? Like, collaboration would be pay someone, right? I mean, I've got some people like, Mike Corso's working on my, IO expander library for MicroPython, and Adam Key is working on my IO expander library for the Arduino side, the C++. But, hey, Adamus. But that's, they're doing that for free in their time, and so their time limited and stuff. Like, the only way to get stuff done on a viable time frame for me is to pay someone, and then I'm paying someone, right? So that, money that I need from the project to survive goes to someone else. Pitch an idea on crowd supply that has a collaboration with many makers. Hey, Pratik. Yeah, I don't know if I need a. I'm not sure collaboration for me, or collaboration doesn't solve any of my problems. You know, like, I mean, fundamentally, I know it's breaking it down into simplistic terms, but fundamentally, two people, half the money each. So, three people, a third of the money each. You know, three people doesn't mean three times the amount of output, because that's not how anything works, or even two people. Like, I've had enough partnerships in my life to know that business doesn't work that way, right? You know, so whatever the output is from those two people, the net gain for me gets halved, and you know, yeah, two people might only equal 1.5 times the output, yet I'm getting only 50% of the return from it. Hey, the embedded hobbyist. You haven't missed a lot other than OBS crashing a lot. So I need to work out what is going on with these pads, because something has broken. I have way more pads, or they're numbered wrong, so I need to go and have a look. So the bottom pads, how many have I got? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 14, and they're in order. So that's good. Maybe the other pads did not go in order. Maybe that's the problem. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They did. So what's going on here? And do I have 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. I do. So why did they not show up correctly when I was trying to hook them up? Let's try that again. Pad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now they are. Okay, that was really weird. 1, 1, 1, connect. 2, 2, 2, connect. 3, 3, 3, connect. 4, 4, 4, connect. Okay, for some reason it didn't load them properly last time. It looks like. So I'm just connecting all these up so I can use them. Am I missing anything in chat? Don't forget to add me if you need my attention. Yes, look, I don't mind collaborating on projects, but I guess something like a crowdfunding campaign or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily think the outcome would be the way you think the outcome would be. Yeah. So, I mean, I've had a lot of business experience prior to me doing this. You know, I ran a award-winning games company. I ran an award-winning animation company for a very long time. I've been running businesses my whole life, and I've had many partnerships. Most of them have failed, and it's just, yeah, very hard. Very hard to do stuff like that. Sacrifices need to be made during growth. Sure, but collaboration doesn't necessarily mean growth. Often the challenges with collaborations mire any gains for them. Anyone have a good, cool project idea for a flexible PCB? I don't. Sorry. I wish I did. Okay, so that's in. I need to update my library. Again, to make sure it's there. So this needs to be a 14 pin. So I'm just adding it in. Connector 14. Okay. I need to get it in the right spot once again. Flexible ink for your Voltara. Didn't know you could get that. That's, whoops. Do a move. That's pretty cool. So zoom out. So as you can see, I've got stacks more space now. The question is, do I have enough? So I just leave that there. What I need to do is see how long this is. And the easiest way to do that is go to my, make sure I'm in millimeters, which I'm not. I am now. If I go to the measure layer, find it, measures. I go to my measure tool, which is slightly off the edge. Sorry, you can't see my tools. I just realized that this was too big. Sorry about that, folks. I was trying to get maximum size for the board layout. So if I go to my measure tool, I need to go from here to, I need 4 mil. Oh, look at that. If I go right to the edge-ish, where's the edge? If I go to the edge of the pad, it's not the straightest measure tool, 4.2 millimeters. And I'm not even sure that's even in the right spot. I hate how you can't easily select this thing. Doesn't tell you where the, there it is, oops, where the selector is. Properties. From 0 to there, and there, and there. Make it 14. Oops. Wow, 14. Oh, I'm having trouble typing. I don't know what that align does. That's probably going to break. But anyway, there we go. So that's 4 mil. Pretty much just over 4 mil on that side, which is really cool. So now I need to see if I have 4 mil on the other side. I hope I do. Oh, easy. Easy, easy. I've got probably 5 mil. How much have I got? Come on, move. Just under 5 mil I've got. No, just over 5 mil. Okay, so that gives me 5 mil here and 4.2 mil over on this side. And I know that looks a bit messy right now, but if I now go and delete this, the previous header, and put this header on, and obviously I need to space some stuff out because I need to get that IO9 in there. That should make this a bit cleaner. So now you can see, if I just go to show the top. Okay, with that spacing of pitch, I've now got, let me turn my measure back on. I've now got 5 mil on this end and 4.2 mil on this side for panelization, which is great. It's sitting a bit high, I need to drop that down. This is currently at 12.54. So I need this to be directly on 12.54 on the edge of the board, which it's not. There we go. Okay. So that gives me plenty of space for panelizing. Okay, what did I miss in the chat? Anything? Can't believe the stream's still going. No, no questions? Okay, I will keep going. I've got one more to do. So, this one is an 11. And what have I got in the 11s? Oh, 11, 1.27 millimeter. There's already that, but it doesn't have all the pads, the right pads that I need. So I'm going to take my 14 and I'm going to duplicate, and I'm I'm going to just then delete. Show it all. Except, where's 11? You can all, bye-bye. That's standard. I'm sorry some of this is off the side of the screen. Take 14, subtract 3. That's what I did. But I just couldn't see my labels, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, if I save that. And I now go to 11. You draw all your components in Eagle yourself. I do. It depends on the component. If I can find a footprint already, I'll go and grab one. But I always triple check it first. I don't just rely on the footprint. But like all of these headers have come from SparkFun originally, but most of them, they're copied into my library because they've been modified stacks. So, yeah. But I try to use as customized pads as I can. Well, footprints, do you need 4mm for penetration on the vertical sides? No. Just on the, well, I don't know. It depends how they're doing it. They told me no. And be interesting to see what they come up with. I think it's because of, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to have 4mm on the vertical side. Maybe on one end if I bias. Now let me just put this in. 1.27mm. Oh, okay. 1.27mm. Okay, sorry, I had to pick a different name. Connect. So just 1 second, let me just get this going. Save that. Update my library. Be nice if there was an auto update option. Too badly fitted. Can hold on my left arm over Christmas. Ouch. Okay, and I'm going to add. Con 11. No silk. Right, it's going to be rotated around. Put in the right spot. Isn't this fun? I enjoy stuff like this, so I've got no problems with it. Now, we probably want to line these up roughly. I'll have to do it again manually. That is sitting at there. Copy. Okay. So they're lined up now. So I can delete this one. Save. So, if you look now, I've got stacks of space. Now I could technically move these up or down. Like I could bias them to one corner and give myself panelizing space. And I'll speak to JLCPCB about that. I'll send them like a screenshot or or even some Gerbers of this to get a thumbs up from them, because there's no way firstly, I can't get them built now anyway. Even if I submitted an order today, they're not going to go into production until February, right? So that's fine. But they're still around, and I'm gonna, I've got my contacts there, and I'm gonna communicate with them to find out that they're okay with it. But I could definitely squeeze 4 mil. Like if I was to move that and rotate it, for argument's sake, like if I wanted it there, if I did want 4 mil on that corner, then I've definitely got enough space. No, I don't. Not for 4 mil. Interesting. Well, that was 4.2, but yeah. I'll have to see what they say. Hey, the Tinker Dad. And hello to anyone that's popped in that I haven't said hi to. There's definitely, like, like how much room is there before I... 3.29, a smidge over 3.29. Well, it's actually more, because if you consider that this face here, this bit here, that is also edge of the board, right? The castellation's here, the plating is the inside, not there. So there's a fraction more, but even if I just take it just to the edge, right, that's 3.58. That's so close to 4. That's assuming that I keep this. And I could probably, again, I could go down a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to have it too close to the edge here. So that's given me even a little bit more space around the edges because the pads aren't coming in so far. That's so roomy now. You'll have Londoners asking to use the studio flat. Well, yeah, I was just saying, like, it's given me a little bit more room. Not a lot. You got to remember that the board's only this big. Hang on, 1 second. I'm just going to put this one next to it. No, smaller than that. Oh. That's about right. That's about 100%. That's how small the board is, right? So that extra space I've given myself, yeah, not really a lot. Not a lot at all. Okay, so I need to obviously reroute all this, and that's going to be painful and whatever. So, I need to get a resistor in. So I need to decide if I want to center this or not. I need to speak to them first before I route this side. Next. What did I miss in the chat? 2 million on top and 2 million on the bottom, an alternative. I don't know, sir, Sean. I'm not sure. Like, I've been given guidance by them, what they needed. I'll actually show you what they told me. So this is what they sent me. Right, they want, so let's get a bit bigger. I mean, they say on the corner, so maybe, I don't know whether they can accept 2 and 2, like the spacing I've got. Maybe clearly they want 4 here, and they want to match what's here, and they've got that whole edge here, which is great. They drew this line here. I'm assuming they mean that they want 4 mil along this edge. If they need 4 mil here and here, that's going to be a problem. But I'll have to wait and see. I'll take a screenshot of what this is and send it to them and ask them. How many locations are you aiming for tabs? I would think 2 to 3 would be plenty on a board that size. Yeah, I'm going to let JLC panelize it for me, not me. Because with Eagle has no real penalization tools right now, unfortunately. They're on the way. I'm taking this into... I mean, there are some plugins out there that let you do V-scoring inside Eagle, but it's a destructive one. Like, you can't once you've done it, you can't go back and modify the design. You have to go and then do the whole process again. There are some external tools at Windows only that let you panelize stuff with mouse bites and things. I don't want to be responsible for setting up the panels wrong and making something that JLCP can't make. And it doesn't work out any difference in cost anyway. Like getting them to panelize the board or supplying a pre-panelized board, we're talking about a few dollars difference in price. I'd rather they panelize it, do it the way they know they can manufacture it, and then if there's a problem, they're responsible for it, not me. If that makes sense. FPGA and CPL bridge the custom IC gap, and you don't need to play with 107. Oh, okay, I don't know what that was for, Peter. Obviously not for me. So, like, I would imagine that 3 positions would be definitely enough to hold each board. And not having, I mean, they're talking about here, here, and here, and this is already free. They're talking about 4 positions. If they could do it on 3, there's just less cleanup for me, I guess. Probably only a set of parallel edges. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how they'd panelize another board on this side unless there was a place to hold it on this side. Unless they could absolutely not have any connections here, and the connection could be on this side. But I don't know if they're V-scoring it or not. If they're planning on V-scoring, like milling this out and V-scoring the edges, or whether they're looking at, I don't think they're going to mouse part it, but we'll see. I won't know until they make something. Ah, right, that was about the customized generic ICs, yep. Yeah, I wouldn't, Johnny, I wouldn't rely on anything you Google to be the way JLC PCB does stuff. Just from experience. Just because it might be a common practice to panelize castellated edges with V-score or not, I don't know, but I don't know how they do them. I'd definitely be, I mean, there's a massive difference in quality, if I just go back to here. Like, there's a massive difference in quality between these 2 boards, right? And, like, one is a room, I'll turn around this way. This is the room 32. This is the JLC PCB board. And as you can see, everything from the quality of the solder mask, maybe you can see, maybe you can't see. Let me just see, maybe I'll turn this down a bit. I'll make it easier. Maybe not. Maybe I'll hold them on a slight angle. But anyway, the quality of the solder mask, the quality of the silk screen, the leveling of the traces and the solder mask, the way it bubbles over the traces and everything, it's very different quality, right? So, you know, the vias, like the size vias between these 2 boards are identical. You might not. You see, I look away. I look away for 5 seconds and OBS dies. No, it wasn't just you, Mike. Sorry about that. Should be back up now, though. Sorry, folks. I look away for 5 seconds. So everything about these 2 boards, specification-wise, they're pretty much using the same, everything. But the quality on this, which is obviously not JLC PCB, is far superior to this one. So, and this is not me picking on JLC PCB at all, but you get what you pay for, right? I mean, you can see here, if you look at how high the tracks are and the way the solder mask hugs the tracks, and what it does with the vias, how it's got the little bubbles, like it forms craters around the vias, right? And then if you look at the same thing over here, these are the same size vias, right? You can't see them. They're actually filled properly. and look at the traces. It's the same copper thickness trace. But you see how the solder mask is just, it's cleaner. Like it's thinner solder mask. So it doesn't bubble up everything. So yeah, look, you know, as I said, you get what you pay for. And, you know, I've got no doubt that, I mean, these boards work great. There's no problem with the boards. They're not the nicest looking, you know, to be honest. The solder mask spread and registration is not great, and it never has been. But they function, they work. So, and by the way, this input here, this is not for the Rooflow Master. This is just indicating that these 3 IOs here are input only, which is something I absolutely hate that Espressif do. I don't understand why they expose any pins that are input only. It's really frustrating. I mean, I'd rather have them input only than not have them at all, but I don't understand why everything isn't input output. Okay. I would expect the panels to resemble something like this. Let me have a look at what that is. Open in a new window. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Let me just switch that over. Yeah, I'm hoping that they'll do something like this. Can I zoom that in? Not really. No. Anyway, so I'd like clean edges if I can. It'd be great if they only have to panelize it one way like this, and that should still be rigid enough. Although these are 0.8mm PCBs, so I don't know if that's going to impact anything. Obviously, the thinner they are, the more flex there's going to be, the more issues there's going to be on a pick and place machine. But because there's nothing on the bottom of them, then my pick and place rig that I use to make these would keep it flat, so there won't be any bounce, which is good. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Something like this would be good if they do the mouse parts like that. It also means it should technically be easier for me to clean, because I'm just cleaning off these mouse bite edges rather than whole V-score edges, which has become kind of problematic. Thanks for that, Peter. That was really good finding that. Hey, Ezzy. Did I say hi to you already? I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been almost 2 hours. I always thought the solder mask was a bit stingy. You know what? It's not only stingy. Well, I don't know. Stingy is not the right word. It's not applied very well on these boards. Like I've got like on some of my Whopper boards, like you can see areas where there's just no solder mask. You know, and then on my last TinyPICO panels that I got from them, there was a whole bunch of panels where the solder mask was just completely, so the silk screen was wiped off. Like I can't sell. I made them because they were in the middle of a panel. I couldn't not make them, but they were. I'm just going to use them for myself internally. So like again, you get what you pay for. The quality control's never been fantastic with JLC PCB. We know that. Hey Ben, good morning. Have a nice sleep in. You were here 4 hours before the stream started. Wow. Okay, so this needs a lot of rerouting, and I probably won't do that on the stream. I don't trust that OBS will stay alive long enough. But now that I've solved panelization, that was my biggest hurdle for this board. If I couldn't manufacture them easily, there was no point making them. And now I feel like I can manufacture them easily, which means I'm just going to put that back in the center, which gives me a lot of hope. Okay, hope, that's the wrong word. It makes me much more comfortable committing to some of these, right? Like right now, to make the boards individually like this is too expensive because of the cancellation costs. But doing them on a panel reduces my per item cost, right? So it becomes much more affordable to do that. Right now, these each, like I'm not even going to begin, like these are like, hang on, I don't want to get this wrong. These are about, $9 each. PCB. $9 per PCB to do them individually like this. Why am I holding them up that way? I don't know. Okay. So, I mean, that's crazy. So $9 each for this PCB, I know that sounds ridiculous, but on my Reflow Master Pro, it gets absorbed on all of that. It's still way more than I need it to be, but it gets absorbed, right? Now, it's because of the castellated edges. JLC PCB charged for the castellated edges. So it's $35 US extra for the castellated edges, right, as a one-off cost. Well, that price might go up a bit if it's penalized, but it'll go up a small amount, right? And now that you can see it more, that's why it costs much more. And the only reason I got these ones made is because I need to RF match them. So these boards I can RF match, even though I'm changing the castellated edges on the other ones and they're going to be penalized. It's not really going to affect the characteristics enough for me to justify doing another batch to RF match. I can definitely RF match these and then correct them on the final ones. Half a hole costs more than a whole hole. Yes, it does. It's something to do with the way they have to do the plating on the inside of the hole because it's along an edge. Some machine they use or something, I don't know. Those 3 input pins not exposed on the TinyPICO. No, they're not. I deliberately on the TinyPICO didn't leave any pins as input only. I used as many as I could internally for stuff like the voltage divider and for VBAT and the charge sense pin and stuff, but I didn't expose any input only because I think it's a terrible thing. So like the Adafruit Huzzah 32 board, some of the analog pins that, they call them A1, 2, 3 or A0, whatever, according to the naming convention to match the Arduino boards, some of those pins are input only and they don't specify that. Like, how many people would have been confused trying to get their code working where they're trying to get, switch an LED and can't get it working and don't realize that pin is an input only pin. So some of their analog pins are input and output and some are input only. I think that's just a terrible thing. It's not Adafruit's fault because they didn't have enough pins. They were out, right? But they needed to make it feather compatible. But I think that's just a terrible thing to do to a user. And how many users go and buy a microcontroller board and then go and download the data sheet for the chip that's on it? I mean, none, really, right? Very few. I shouldn't say none. Very few. So that's why I never did it. It was covered earlier in the video. They make a normal hole, cut half away, then have to do some cleanup of the mess. No, that's not how JLC PCB do it. That's how some other manufacturers do it, and that's how JLC PCB used to do it. They've got a machine that does special plating. Or maybe that's part of the clean up the mess process, but they do a hole, however they do it. For me, I've just got holes there, pads, holes, and then they put it in a special machine that replates all the castellated edges properly. And so that's why they charge extra for it, because of their machine. Mike's one of the few, right? But if you look at the people that Adafruit target, very much more the beginner space, beginner to intermediate, none of them would even know that there were data sheets available. Many of them wouldn't. I shouldn't say none. So yeah, putting a pin on a board that doesn't do what the other pins do, I think it's something I didn't want to do on the TinyPICO. Plus, I would have had to make the TinyPICO bigger, so didn't want to do that either. Have you got any quotes from suppliers in purchasing PCB 4-layer and up? Yeah, I do. JLC PCB by far is at least the cheapest by at least 50%. For castellated edges, even more. So as much as these boards cost me from JLC PCB, PCB Way, Seed, what are they called? God, I can't remember the name. Anyway, I checked. I did price comparisons with 4 other companies, and massively more expensive. Massively. Like even my tiny, not just the castellated edges, Electro. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Electro. Like even like my TinyPICO boards, right? A panel of TinyPICO boards from JLC PCB. Even though the price keeps going up, they're now throwing in that extra supplemental fee you need to pay before it goes in production stuff, whatever. Charging more here, charging more there. which is frustrating, but it's still less than half the price of the next cheapest person, which is PCBWay. Electro is really close with PCBWay on price. Seed is like 2 times the price. Brian said he got a €15 reduction for ordering electronics along with PCB boards, and now they stopped giving the reduction. No, the €15 was on shipping. So a long time ago, when customers first started using LCSC from JLC PCB, they were offering discounted shipping if you ship parts from LCSC while your boards are in production for JLC PCB. No, they offered shipping together. So if you had boards in production, you could buy your parts from JLC PCB, and then they would ship them all together to you, and you only pay one shipping, right? They got in trouble doing that with customs and whatever, because there were 2 different types of product and being shipped under the same thing, and they weren't allowed to do that anymore. So they stopped doing that. And so what they did, though, is for the customers that were registered on LCSC during that period, what they did is gave you a $15 discount, up to $15 discount on your shipping for LCSC to make up for the fact that you couldn't do combined shipping anymore. But it seems like as of a couple of weeks ago that now is finished as well. So there is no more cheaper shipping. But one thing they are doing right now is if you buy $299 worth of parts, you get free shipping. And lucky for me, like I can't remember the last time I did an order that wasn't cheaper than that. So I'm going to be leveraging the free shipping, but that's only for a small period of time. I think it's only for a couple of days, 10 days or something. Or maybe it stops when they go into their holidays. So I've got a rather large order I need to do. So, I mean, at the end of the day, well, shipping for me is quite expensive, because I think the biggest order I've done from them before, which was about just over $4,000 for the order. Yeah, my shipping was quite a lot. It was about $70 something, $79 because of the weight of everything. It wasn't I had to ship all my anti-static bags and stuff, and they were really heavy. But generally my shipping's about between $27 and $39. So if I can save that on my next order, that'd be good. But it's a shame they're not doing their discounts anymore. SMT assembly, they seem to throw in a lot of minimum cost for extended parts. One cost $2, minimum cost $4. Of course it adds up, but that's because they're a prototyping service. Right? Remember, they're not designed for... Their assembly service is not about doing production. It's about doing cheaper prototyping. And even with those extra costs, it still works out cheaper than you having to hand build them yourself, especially if you're not capable of hand building them yourself. Yeah, the $70 is a tiny fraction on an order of 4,000, absolutely. But it's still $70, right? It's still, that $4,000 gets amortized over thousands of boards, as does the $70, but it's still $70, $70 US is like over $100 Australian. $100 Australian, I think that's like, 5 takeout meals. You know what I mean? Five dinners. So, it's not nothing. It's coming out of my pocket, remember? It's different when it's coming out of an unknown company, not unknown, but you know what I mean? Like if it's coming out of expenditure of a company and whatever. But every single cent that I spend comes out of my pocket. So it feels different spending it, if that makes sense. Yes. So and it's a deduction for me as well, but I'm not making enough money to make any deductions do anything. $300 is not. Yeah, it's okay. If it's a lot of stuff, if you're only ordering cheap stuff or only ordering small quantities, absolutely. But I don't order anything small quantities anymore. I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't necessarily order a reel, but if I need 20 resistors of a certain value, I'll buy 1,000. A tape of 1,000, because it doesn't make any sense. Like for cost value, 1,000 of them is going to cost me like $1.20 or $2. Like, why would I buy 20 or 50 and then potentially run out again? I might use them, right? I'll buy them and I'll use them again. Even though I'm trying to standardize on my parts a lot. Try getting $20 off part ex-USA and get charged $56 on shipping. Yeah. Shipping is a rort in Australia. to Australia and out of Australia. It really is. There's just no reason why shipping is so expensive. I know we're on the other side of the globe compared to other... Is that my rant today? Shipping? I know we're on the other side of the globe, but there's really no need for shipping to be so expensive. I hate it. Honestly, I hate it when I sell stuff on Tindy and my TinyPICO store, and someone will buy one TinyPICO from me from Norway, for instance, because someone did that. I got an order going out today. Was it one? No, that was yesterday. One TinyPICO for $20 US, and they had to pay $15 to ship it. $15 US to ship it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Now, I can ship it cheaper, but it's untracked and it's uninsured, and if it goes missing, I can't do anything about it, right? And I think that's a terrible experience for an end user. But the cheapest tracked shipping I can get, and it's not even fast shipping, it's still just mail, but it's tracked, is like it cost me, I charge $15 for shipping because everyone takes their cut before I get it, and then what I'm left with covers me for my shipping costs and the packaging, and that's it. I make zero money off my shipping. It's really sad. I don't understand why it's so expensive in Australia, and it really annoys me. A business partner asked me once, Yield, why did you order 500 resistors when you need 50? And then show the price. Exactly. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I'd rather have a stockpile here of 500 of them that I don't use right now, but I could use in the future. Yeah, buying 50 doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously some parts you don't do that with. And caps right now are still a bit expensive. They're getting a little bit cheaper again. I'm not sure the quality is as good. I don't know. But shipping in AU outbound subsidizes the inbound costs. I don't know how it works, Ian. All I know is that it's way too expensive. Even shipping within Australia is just too expensive. They've come down in price a little bit for shipping within Australia. Australia Post have anyway. But going overseas, it's frustrating. And I get packages lost all the time. Unfortunately, it's really it's sad. That's why I have to have them insured and I have to have them tracked, because I'm not making enough money on my product. Like, I'm not making enough money to live right now, let alone making enough money on my product to cover any losses. If someone buys something, someone pays $100 worth of stuff from me and I ship it and it gets lost, and I have to either give them a refund or reship it. Not only I've lost all the money on those parts, I've lost the shipping cost, and I have to pay the shipping cost again, which is expensive, plus the parts. It's just not worth it for me. I mean, with the insurance, I don't get covered for GST or for my shipping cost, unfortunately, just the value of the goods, but that's something. The downside to that is I have to declare the goods as the correct value. So when people are buying from EU, I feel bad about that as well. I know that they're going to get the goods and going to get hit for duties, especially on the higher costing stuff, like my reflow masters and whatever. But there's nothing I can do. If one gets lost, I can't undervalue it, because then when I go and claim it, if it gets lost, I can only claim for the value I undervalued, and I end up losing money on it, and it doesn't make any sense. It's a tough game, this game. How's the fires affecting you? The fire specifically not, but the smoke and the smell's been really bad. So not last night, the night before. So Monday night, overnight, Melbourne was rated the worst air quality in the world because of the fires. So worldwide, we had the worst air quality globally. Like all the swimming pools, like it's really hot here. It's like it was 31 yesterday, it's going to be 34 today, 31 again tomorrow. No, actually tomorrow's going to be cooler. Like half the pools are shut down because of the air quality. They can't open the pools. A lot of the holiday programs, like my kids go to, they've had to either cancel them or move them. Like, it's just really hard to breathe outside. Like, it's terrible. It's not only does it smell bad, but it's actually really bad for you. So yeah, it's I'm safe from the fires, thankfully, but not from the side effects of the fire. Here, just send small stuff in an envelope like postcards. Yeah, look, I can send small stuff cheap if it's classed as a letter, but it's still not insured. You know, I can send something to the EU for $3, but it's not insured, and the issue is not the cost of the shipping. Then it's the cost of. It's calling me. Hang up. It's the cost of the goods getting lost. Like this, yeah. Do you think the Australian Open should have been held? So let's talk about that before. Look, I don't know. Probably not. It's interesting. There's not only the Australian Open. There's also some other racing or something happening here. I'm not sure. Like, how do you shut down the Australian Open? Like, it can't be rescheduled. It can't be moved. Like in a week's time, they're moving to a different tournament. Like, there are back-to-back tournaments throughout the year. Like, I totally get. Yeah, I don't know. Should sports people have to play sport in? I don't think they should play sport in the heat either. But that's whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that, Michael, because I wouldn't even. I don't know how that would even work. Like, I don't see how you could just cancel the Australian Open. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the what's it called? The Grand Slam. It's a Grand Slam tournament. Like, if you cancel the Australian Open, it completely destroys everyone's ranks for the whole year. If that makes sense. So should they not play? Sure. Can they not play? I don't think so. On Monday night, all the fire alarms were going off in Geelong. Fire trucks everywhere. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, Michael. Finished work. What did you miss? Oh, you missed OBS dying a lot. I finished making my new castellated edges for my board. I haven't rerouted it though. But I've made the castellated edges and I have enough room for panelization now, which is fantastic. So that's exciting. And then now we're just talking about stuff. Tennis would be easier if they took the fence down. That's true. They don't have to play the Open, but it'll cost them. Yeah, it'll cost the players big time. It would. I mean, obviously, prize money, all the sponsors, and everything else. Like, it would be a financial disaster. But as a Grand Slam, it really, it would affect everything. No, I don't think I'm going to rant today. Hey, Bruce, I don't know if I'm going to rant today. Well, I don't really have anything to rant. I mean, I can rant about OBS, but that's not going to help at all. Yeah. I'm sure it's not specifically OBS. It's a combination of OBS and Mac OS and maybe my specific Mac and YouTube and who knows what it is. Yeah, I don't really have anything to rant about. I don't know. I wish I did. I can rant about how my floor is covered with stuff again, and it is a pigsty. I can rant about how I ordered stuff from Amazon and ordered the wrong thing by accident and got really annoyed. That was my own fault. What else can I talk about? I don't know. Might need a Windows update or a Linux machine. Yeah, I'm not moving to Windows. Not for just for streaming. No. I mean, OBS has been great for a little while, so I don't want to. Like, my last 3 streams have been fantastic. No issues. I don't know what changed today. Maybe I should have restarted my computer before it started. I don't know. I can rant about this massive, massive pimple I got here. I'm going through puberty again. It seems. Rant about Catalina. No, I'm not going to rant about it. It's all new versions of macOS suffer a bit. They made some really fundamental changes in Catalina, and that's what's tripping up a lot of people. Some really core, low-level changes about how code runs and works and stuff. So I expected these issues, and that's why I haven't moved, and I won't move for a couple of versions yet, I don't think. We prefer non-ranter streams. They are much friendlier feeling. Oh, really? I don't think my ranting's been negative. Pineapple on pizza? Absolutely. I love pineapple on pizza. If you don't, that's fine, but I do. Chicken and pineapple and olive pizza. Yum! My favourite pizza, by far. How is your component tracking software? Hey, Paul. It's currently not going anywhere. It did progress a little bit, but it's I'm currently don't have a lot of motivation to spend on it, and I've got plenty of other things to do, and I'm doing those instead. So I will get back to it at some point. I'm staying out of politics after meeting a sort of nice Australian in the hot tub. who was I don't know what blah 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 MP fan. You talking about Scott Morrison? What MP? Anyway, yeah, stay out of politics. It's not worth it. A 15-inch MacBook Pro is the best Windows machine I've ever used. Yeah, Macs have always been a good Windows machine, but kind of not the latest Macs though. They haven't been like a lot of the optimizations they've been doing for the Mac at the hardware level don't work on the Windows. Like people are buying the new 2019 Mac Pro, which is an amazing machine. I'm not even going to go into the price. Are getting really bad performance under Windows because a lot of the optimizations that Apple have done in the hardware for the Mac just don't work on Windows. So that's an interesting thing. Second puberty, mini grads. Yeah, I don't understand. Like I've actually broke out with quite a few here and whatever. I don't know. Maybe something I'm eating. Maybe I'm not. How's the probe scar? That's gone. Oh, no, a little bit of a lump actually. Wait, which side was it? No, it was here. Yeah, a little bit of a lump. But yeah, that was hilarious. I did the same thing to my thumb the other day. No, you can't see it. Might be able to see there's a mark there. I stuck a, the cleaning pipe things you use to clean the desoldering station? Whoops. These things, yeah, when it gets stuck, I stuck one of those through my thumb. Through my thumb. No joke. It went in here. Oops, we can't see. It went in there and out there. It was a ripper. And it was filthy. And so lots of antiseptic and stuff to make sure I didn't get any tetanus issues. Do you prefer black or green OLEDs? I think I prefer black. I don't mind either. Black are better for you, I think. They're more anti-carcinogenic, apparently. But I like both. Say that again. Chicken, olive, and pineapple pizza. And anchovy. I love anchovies as well. Sometimes anchovies, depends. And obviously cheese and tomato sauce, whatever. Sounds horrible. No, it's not horrible. It's awesome. Apple's $999 one. Oh, that could be a courier. Hold the line. Don't go anywhere. I'm reading for a second. Hey, sorry. I thought it was a pickup, but it was delivery. It was coffee. Box of coffee. Yes! I can get caffeinated. Why is all these people unsure about what I was saying about the pizza? Chicken, pineapple, and olive. It's yum. Yeah, I feel like Apple have lost their way a little bit with the hardware-software gel at the moment, but I think they'll get back on track, I think. The 2016 MacBook Pro is by far the best thing they've done in terms of fixing their course on their MacBook Pros, for sure. And I'm waiting for the next revision, this year's version to come out, and I'll probably grab one of those. So that's exciting. Still using the last MacBook before the Butterfly and Touch Bar. 2013? I think that was... Wasn't that the 2015? 2015 was the last before. 2016 was their first one with the Butterfly keyboard that was terrible, which I've got one. Had to get the keyboard replaced. Stop saying pineapple. How's my tummy? Did they find out what it is? They did find out what it is. Have I not spoken about that? I have some weird blood disorder. And so what happened was this blood disorder caused some... God, I lost it. Can't think of the name. Can't think of the word. Anyway, it's like clotting, and basically prevented all blood flow to my large intestine. So my large intestine was completely starved for a blood supply, and therefore it constricted and ulcified. Does that make sense? Whatever that became ulcerous, and that was the problem. And so we're now going back to I had more blood tests 2 days ago. We're going around in lots of circles, more CT scans, more blood tests. They're trying to work out why I have this disorder, because it's extremely unusual for people my age, like non-existent in people my age, and they can't, as in I'm way too young, like 20, 30 years too young to be getting something like this, and they don't know why. So that's what we're spending all our time and money doing right now, is trying to work out why, if it's part of something else, if this is just if it's a knock-on effect or a side effect of a different issue, which is what they're looking into, or if it's the issue by itself. Flux fumes got to me. No, it wasn't the flux fumes. It can't be. No, it's not cancerous. No, it's a blood disorder. It's just a really super rare at my age. So it's good that they know, but there's no fix for it or cure for it specifically. But they know how to treat it if it comes up again. So I'm hoping it all works out too. But it's been a long process, and it's going to keep being long. And that's right, I'm taking aspirin every day now, just to thin my blood, just in case. But the clotting is a side effect of the blood disorder, not the other way around. So I'm on aspirin every day to make sure that the clotting gets reduced, just in case. I've actually had a couple of reoccurrences of the issue, but it's been very minor ones, which is good. Haven't had to go to the hospital, but yeah, this is ongoing. Have you got Crohn's, Peter? Oh yeah, I've had ulcerative colitis my whole life, and I've got friends who've got Crohn's and colostomy bags, and yeah, I know all about it. It's really terrible disease. I didn't know you had. Sorry to hear, mate. So it's known in older, but like 80-year-olds, and again, it's still fairly rare. Like, it's not a prevalent issue in 80-year-olds, but my friend had Crohn's. They said he was going to die. He cured himself. There's some things you can, it's dietary a lot. Like you can have a really bad time with Crohn's or an okay time with Crohn's, depending on what you eat. But at the end of the day, if it's severe Crohn's and you've got to keep getting bowel taken out, and eventually you can't get any more bowel taken out. But I don't think Crohn's was a you're going to die thing. The end of Crohn's is where you have no bowel left and you get a colostomy bag. I'm pretty sure if he was going to die, there would have been something else, not his Crohn's, that was the problem, I would think. But I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But as I said, I've got friends who have Crohn's at various levels. And I'm glad I don't. And I'm glad that this is not, for me, it's not Crohn's related. Yeah. I thought we were going to go on an Apple. No, we're not. We're not. I would love a new Mac Pro, by the way, but I'm not spending that much money on a machine. Definitely not. I moved to Colorado to get access to legal cannabis extract. I use. Yeah, so that is interesting because I would like to start using some type of legal cannabis extract for my shoulders. For those that don't know, I've got oh my god, my brain is just not working today. I've got arthritis in my shoulders, right? And no, not frozen shoulder. Arthritis in my shoulders, and it's deteriorating, which is not great. And so it's all about, for me, it's about pain management. And pain management comes down to the more I move my shoulders, the more I move my arms, the more I lift, the more pain I'm in, and the longer it takes to recover. So, using some cannabis oil or stuff apparently is really good for the shoulders for degenerative arthritis, but I can't yet. It's not legal here, so that's really sucks. I had one of my AC joints cut off. The other one is what? Ouch. What's CBD? Central Business District? I don't understand. I'm being used as a mule. What? And I just diagnosed with IBD in December, ulcerative related to Crohn. Yep. Now on anti-inflammatories to see how I go. Oh, sorry to hear, Greg. Yeah, it's the bowel's a really tricky one because people don't realize the bowel controls everything. Like if your bowel is healthy, you are healthy. If your bowel is not, it's got so many knock-on effects. It affects all parts of your body, not just physically and even mentally and stuff. And so, yeah, bowel disease and bowel issues are just really problematic. CBD oil. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know what the name is because it's not legal here yet, so it's not available. So I have not even looked. Is a non-psychoactive cannabinoid. Right. Okay. No. I don't know. I was recommended by someone overseas who has done something similar, like with their shoulders, but I don't know. Like I didn't go into what it was. I can't get it. It makes no difference what it is because it's not available to me at the moment. Okay, CBD. Yeah, I know what THC is. Might have had a past life. Say no more. Anyone that's got any type of bowel disorders, sorry, I really feel for you. I mean, I do myself, so I know what it's like. It's really debilitating. Australian healthcare is very good. Yes, it's one of the better ones here. It's not necessarily cheap, but it's one of the better ones here. That said, I don't think our hospitals get enough support from the government, just in general, but at a medical quality level, it's very good, and availability for people is good, and even at like a public system is still better than a lot of places. It just really depends on what your illness is. You know, like there's a very large private sector medical system in place in Australia that is much cheaper than something like America. So, it's like we're private health cover for the family. Like it's costing us a lot of money per month, but what we get for it is far outweighs. Yeah, like it just depends whether you need it or not. They do an interesting thing here in right. So Ben's saying it's price when you don't have Medicare. Medicare is our public medical system that everyone kind of gets unless you're an import, like Ben is. When you're becoming a citizen, Ben, then you get Medicare. So the government does something interesting here. For people over a certain age, if they don't have private health cover, they tax you more. So you pay a penalty in your tax for your wages because you don't have private health cover, and they do that to encourage more people to have private health cover, which takes the strain off the government for the Medicare, which means those that can't afford, it's better for those that can't afford, and if those that can afford, it's better for them anyway. And you still get your rebates and all sorts of other stuff. And so, yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it. You need to get PR first, permanent residency. Okay, well, fingers crossed. How long is that going to take? Another 5 years? It's really slow, isn't it? It isn't age-related. is total tax. Oh, is it? It's based on income, not on age. No, but I thought people under a certain age were excluded anyway. Like if you, I mean, there's no point an 18-year-old having private health cover. Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion, anyway. Hey, Oddsball, is this Fortnite? Is what Fortnite? I don't know what. I mean, the game? No? What? Is there is a Medicare free threshold, and then there's 1.5 tax until you hit the limit taxable, and it goes way up if you aren't covered. Right, okay. There you go, Ian. Ian knows. This is Ian's realm of expertise, so sorry. Yep. I mean, I was obviously, when this was introduced, already had private health cover. Never really looked into what the things were. So I should have said $350 per month. What was that for? How much? Top everything medical insurance. No, we pay more than $350 a month for our family. But our family requires more than a lot of people do. The age-related thing is the cost of health insurance. Under 30, it's a flat rate. If you cover prior to 30, you stay on 30. Right, okay. You stay on that rate until you need to change your health cover for whatever reasons, because it didn't include something that you needed, and then all of a sudden, they hit you for this new massive increase, which is, long story. Been there, done that recently. Private medical and extras insurance, yeah. Look, it really depends. You can get health insurance as low as, $150, $180 a month, depending on what you need. It comes down to what you need. It comes down to how old you are, whether you're looking at starting a family or not. Right, $350 a month for a single, that's quite high, but I guess it depends on what you need coverage for. I like how they group stuff together, and to get the things that you need over here, you pay for a whole bunch of stuff that you're not going to need. But what are you going to do? Diabetes, my costs are high. I need good coverage. Right. I need digging a grave insurance. Does anyone here have life insurance? I got life insurance. I only got it recently, probably a couple of years ago. Yeah. Not that I am generating enough money to cover to feed the family. I'm still the only person generating income, right? So if I go, need to make sure that Yuz and the kids are fine. That's also expensive in here. Life insurance is quite expensive. Could take other insurance with a few items less covered and get down to half that cost. That's right, but you might be losing something else that you need in the process of doing that. Top private is so good and the gap is low. Friends was in hospital private. It was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, when I went to hospital for my thing, I was there for four and a half days or whatever it was, and I mean, I was out of pocket $800 all up. That was the hospital fee of $500 or $550, and I think I had to pay an anaesthetist bill, which is generally not covered. So that's it would have easily been a $10,000 stay at the hospital for all the scans and tests and everything I did and treatment and stuff for 4 days, and I was out of pocket $800. That's pretty good, and you only pay that hospital fee once a year. So, although that was last year, but if I would have gone back to hospital again like 3 weeks later, I wouldn't have had to pay that admission. You only pay it once, so that's pretty good. My life expectancy is only a couple more years, so it's just like, what? Okay, I don't have that much cover. I can't afford the repayments on that much cover at the moment. I have enough cover for Yaz to be able to pay the house off with a little bit left over, I think. And that's pretty much what I've got. I mean, I might up it as time goes on, but I'm not planning on going anywhere right now. You lived longer than you were told as a kid. What? You and I need to have a talk, Ian. What is going on? I was told I'd be a cripple by my mid-30s and dead by my 40s. Well, that's a nice thing to be told. Crazy. Okay, this conversation. Hey Charles, you popped in just as Ian's talking about dying soon, and we're talking about health cover and life insurance cover, which is really not related to the channel in any way, but, you know, what are you going to do? Genetic thing. It's a genetic thing. I wish I knew earlier as my kids have it. Oh no. So what, you wouldn't have had kids had you have known earlier? Or is it something you could have done about it? I won't live long enough to have a computer as fast as I want. I want it implanted in my head. I don't want a computer implanted in my head because I enjoy using a computer. Like, if there's no more using the computer, then I don't know. Like, if I didn't care about the enjoyment of using a computer, I'd be using Windows right now, right? Anyway. Yeah, the insurance companies have done that because they've got all the data. They know all the things people are claiming. They know all the things that they're not claiming. So they're going to throw in the things that they're not claiming and make it look like they're giving you a lot more because they know that it's not going to cost them any money. Windows jab. Yes, it was. Right punch. Cool. Okay, you know what? I'm going to wind this stream up, I think. Thank you all for joining. It was great. I know it's time to wind up the stream when my concurrent users is going down. I want a Wi-Fi chip in my head, like from Doctor Who. No, I don't want a Wi-Fi chip in my head. Not until Wi-Fi is faster and better and doesn't crash as often. Electronic money. What? We've already got that. Meow, Ludo, Disco, Gamma, Meow, Meow, implanted, an Opal card. Didn't end well. I don't even know who that is, but an Opal card. Yeah. I'm going to stick I'm going to make a Nano. I'm going to make a Nano Ultra and stick it in my arm. Yeah, what do you reckon? Stick a Nano in my arm with the RGB lights flashing through my skin? Yes. No, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, thanks all for joining. And if you're new here this week, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining. Yeah, if you're not subbed to the channel, please sub to my channel. Don't forget to like the video. Yeah. And yeah, I really first person to embed a C on board wins. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not cutting my arm open. Not going to happen. Well, I can't believe I even mentioned that. It's not going to happen. If someone wants me to make a really ultra small board for them to try it, I'll do it. I'll pay for the board. But you have to cut your arm open and stick it in your arm, okay? And I'm not endorsing it, but I'll do it for you. Okay? Something about having a Patreon. Yeah, I was going to say I've got a Patreon. If you feel like backing me on Patreon, please do. But then I thought bad about it. But then Ben mentioned it. Yeah, so much for the whole promoting myself better. Yeah, just a little cut if I do. And then what, squeeze the skin open? Oh, stop it. Stop it. Okay, I'm going. Ooh, la 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 la. I can't. My Patreon will go sky high. I don't think it'll go sky high, but that's okay. Might do a speedy kit build race. What? Alternative birth control edition. Anyway, thank you all. Bye. Hit the like button. Buy one of my products. Or don't. Back me on Patreon. Or not. But please sub. Sub to the channel. Tell your friends about my channel. Let's get my sub count. Let's see if I can get to 10,000 this year. That'd be awesome. Catch you later, folks. Thanks for joining. It was a great stream. Appreciate all your help.